Luka Modric was born in a small village in Croatia almost completely destroyed by war. As he grew, survival was a constant struggle, but he was able to overcome unimaginable challenges and rise to the peak of football.
I think the man has that much respect and he's that good.
Yeah.
And the age doesn't matter because he's never been lightning quick.
Becoming one of the greatest midfielders the world has ever seen.
And in this one, Jamie, I know you like this one, but again, head up straight away when he receives the ball.
So, how did Luka Modric escape the chaos of war and become a BALLON d'OR winner?
Rozgrywanym tutaj przeciwko CSKA Moskwa, bo
He's a great player, but I don't believe for any minute of that game he was ever thinking.
Play Luka Modric central, and Clive said to me, Harry, he'll get murdered in there. He's not strong enough to play in there. He can only play in that off the left, you know, out the way where he can. I said, no, I think he'll play in there. He'll get on the, you know. Anyway, I played him. We beat Arsenal. And then Saturday we played Chelsea.
This is the full story of Luka Modric. Luka Modric's story starts in the small village of Zatan Obrovatsky, situated in Croatia. This beautiful village was constantly affected by the reality of the Croatian War of Independence in the early 1990s. His life took a dramatic turn when his grandfather was killed by rebel forces. His family, just like many other families, were forced to abandon their home, leaving everything they held dear behind. They found refuge in a hotel in Zadar, which was a city also affected by the war. They had to make do with a crowded and cramped space as they had no choice. Luka's childhood was not ordinary because he had to deal with bombings and landmines, but in the middle of all the chaos, he found something that was more like therapy for him: football. He created a makeshift football that he kicked against the hotel walls for hours, honing his technique and control. Despite how difficult his life was, Luka started developing a passion for football. It didn't take long before his constant love for football drew the attention of other people around him. At the tender age of 6, Luka Modric joined NK Zadar, which was a local football club that helped him get his first structured training in the sport. While training at NK Zadar, Luka Modric faced a major obstacle, which was his physical structure. He didn't qualify for the traditional physical requirements of a footballer. He was small, slim, and weak. His teammates, the coaches, and even football scouts had doubts about whether he could compete at a professional level. But what he didn't have in size was compensated for with his technical ability, hard work, and his vision. His journey into professional football started officially when he signed with Dinamo Zagreb, the local premier football club for Croatia. This was a dream come true for many young players, as they would have loved to join such a prestigious academy. But for Luka Modric, it was just another obstacle. He faced extreme competition while at Dinamo, and his small stature made him an easy target for critics. Although he had a lot of potential, he was not immediately successful at Dinamo. To gain the proper training and experience, the club sent him to Zrinjski Mostar Herzegovina. It was where, in one of the most physically demanding leagues in Europe, that Luka had to prove his resilience. He had to compete against stronger and older footballers, but instead of being intimidated, he was able to adapt. His performance in Mostar did not just solidify his mental fortitude, but also earned him an award of the Player of the Year in the Bosnian League, which was quite astonishing for someone his age. After the achievement at Zrinjski, he was given on loan to Inter Zaprisic in Croatia. While he was here, he helped the team to win a second-place finish in the Croatian league, and his achievements drew the attention of Dinamo's management. When he got back to Dinamo Zagreb, he established himself as a midfielder. His ability to pass the ball and adapt in critical moments helped him to win several multiple league championships for Dinamo. In 2008, Luka Modric moved to Tottenham Hotspur. It was both an exciting opportunity and a challenge for him to join one of the most competitive football leagues in the world, the English Premier League. At Tottenham Hotspur, critics had doubts about whether his physical frame could withstand the rigorousness of English football, but as always, his skill spoke for him. One of Modric's most iconic performances came during Tottenham's match against Inter Milan in the 2010-2011 UEFA Champions League group stage. At this time, Inter was the existing Champions League title holder. Modric's influence on the match played at White Hart Lane was undeniable. As Gareth Bale stole headlines with his hat-trick in the away leg at the San Siro and his runs in the home leg, Modric was the mastermind behind Tottenham's victory. Another unforgettable moment was when Modric received the ball near the center circle, turned past his marker, and sent a through ball to Rafael van der Vaart, who scored Tottenham's opening goal. Tottenham's victory against Inter Milan with a score of 3-1 announced their arrival on Europe's biggest stage, and Modric was at the center of it. After about 4 seasons playing with Tottenham, Luka Modric helped them to bag a spot in the UEFA Champions League, leading them to unforgettable wins, especially during a performance against Inter Milan. Luka Modric moved to Real Madrid in 2012, which is one of the most talked about football clubs in history. He could average a passing completion of 90% over the next season, helping his team to win the Copa del Rey to get to the Champions League finals, faring well against other teams like Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. The 2014 UEFA Champions League final at Estadio da Luz in Lisbon was an unforgettable moment in football, as Real Madrid played for their 10th European Cup, La Décima. Atletico Madrid was feeling quite confident after their recent win at La Liga just days earlier, but Luka Modric was able to change the course of history at the dying minute. The match was fierce, with Atletico Madrid leading in the first half thanks to Diego Godin's header in the 36th minute. In the 93rd minute, Real Madrid earned a corner which seemed like a lost cause. As the clock ticked into injury time, Luka walked up to take the corner kick. With pinpoint precision, he kicked the ball, curving its path into Atletico's penalty area. It bypassed the defenders and went to Sergio Ramos, who delivered a powerful header, sending the ball into the net. Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Marcelo added goals, securing a victory of 4-1. With Xabi Alonso's absence, Luka Modric had to collaborate with Toni Kroos. The success of the following season did not come as a shock, as they won the UEFA Super Cup alongside their opening league game with a score of 2-0 against Villarreal. Unfortunately, that season, Luka had several injuries which slowed down his career progression. Madrid's inability to win matches in his absence was blamed on Ancelotti. Zinedine Zidane also took over the managerial position, referring to Luka as a master of the game and a major player in connecting attack and defense. This became a pillar of the team that achieved success. With Luka Modric's creativity, Toni Kroos's precision, and Casemiro's defense, they gave a new meaning to midfield play. In 2018, Luka Modric's journey to football immortality reached its peak. It all started with the FIFA World Cup held in Russia, where Luka Modric played with the Croatian national team, leading them to their first ever World Cup final. In the group stage, Luka Modric scored a breathtaking long-range goal against Argentina that left fans in shock. Because of this, even players like Lionel Messi were awestruck. In the knockout rounds, Luka Modric's leadership skills were portrayed. While playing against Russia in the quarterfinals, he exhaustively played a match that led to penalties, setting up important plays, and converting his spot kick in the shootout. After this was the semi-final against England, where Luka Modric was able to orchestrate a comeback, leading Croatia to a victory after the extra time. Even though Croatia performed poorly against France in the finals, Luka Modric's performances throughout the tournament earned him the best player, symbolized by the golden ball. It was a proper way to recognize a player who had carried his nation to unimaginable heights, showcasing his intelligence, technical ability, and willpower. Later that same year, Luka Modric achieved another incredible feat by winning the BALLON d'OR, shattering the records of the BALLON d'OR being held by Ronaldo and Messi alone. After winning this award, his legacy as one of the greatest players in football was solidified. Luka Modric's football intelligence is something that needs to be talked about more. He is able to anticipate the moves of his opponents and his teammates while making passes over long distances and reading intricate through balls. Even though he is quite successful, unlike many celebrities, Luka Modric is one of the most humble and down-to-earth players in football. His rise to fame from being a refugee has never gotten to his head, and he is popular for his modesty, strong sense of family, and quiet nature. Bagging 6 UEFA Champions Leagues and 4 La Liga trophies, Luka Modric is a national hero, a football legend, and will forever remain an icon in the history of football. Do you think Luka Modric indeed deserved the Golden Ball? Comment below.